Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Leadership Think Tank. This is a leadership lesson titled Build Trust, Not Walls. The theme here today is transparency builds credibility, but walls built from silence or defensiveness erodes it. So, good leaders don't hide behind titles. They step forward with trust. And that's what today's lesson is all about. Build trust, not walls. Not walls. I saw a video clip last night of President George Bush just after he was informed that the second plane hit the second tower. And he had said in this documentary that a leader continues to have strength and composure even when it seems like the walls are closing in. We're getting into today when people follow you, they're not just following your instructions, they're following your integrity. In times of rapid change like in 2026, as we see, there's so much change going on already, and we're just in the fourth month. But followers are looking for something more than valuable than certainty. They look for honesty. They're looking for honesty. So organizations, churches, and teams can survive without perfect leaders, but they cannot survive without trustworthy ones. So it's important that there are trustworthy leaders. And there are lots of leaders, maybe quote unquote, lots of leaders in position, and they've been given that maybe because of tenure or because of, we needed a warm body to plug a hole. So these folks have not learned the technique of leadership. Now, John Maxwell describes it like this: if you think you're leading and no one's following, you're only taking a walk. And he says this: leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So it's so important today. So leadership is not about having all the answers. It's about leading with clarity, explaining your reasoning, and aligning your actions with your values. Here's a key thought for us this morning. Trust is built when leaders explain how decisions are made, not just what decisions are made. It's important to include your team in the information. So that one shift from announcing to explaining can transform how people experience your leadership. So here's number one: transparency builds connection. So walls don't always look like defense barriers. In leadership, walls can look like silence. When leaders make decisions behind closed doors, people begin to imagine the worst behind the walls, right? If you know that your job is on the line and there's a closed door and people talking, you want to know what it's all about, don't you? And all these fears, all these thoughts come up in your own mind. But transparency builds a bridge. When you take time to share the why you made a decision, the constraints, the trade-offs, or even the mistakes, you invite people behind those scenes. That vulnerability communicates three things. Number one is competence. You've thought through the situation carefully. Number two is fairness. Everyone understands how you weighed the options. And number three, respect. You value your team enough to explain your reasoning. Here's an illustration for you this morning. Think of a pilot during turbulence. Passengers feel calmer when the pilot's voice comes over the intercom explaining, hey, we're adjusting our altitude to find smoother air. Nothing about that statement changes the bumps, but it restores trust, and people begin to relax because they know what's happening and that someone is capable of guiding the way. It takes me back to George Bush again. when he went down to what was called ground zero, and he climbed up on the rubble, and he said, "We hear you. We hear you. I hear you." And there was something powerful about that moment that will be frozen in time, that he rose up, the leader rose up. Someone needed to rise up and say, "Hey, I'm here, and I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I hear your frustrations. I hear your cries, and I'm with you." And so as a leader, your intercom moments matter just as much. Silence breeds anxiety, but information builds alignment. So point number 2 is credibility comes from consistency, not control. In a world moving faster every year, technology, policy, markets, right, even ministry changes. Leaders can't control every outcome, but we can control our consistency. Are you consistent for the most part as a leader? Credibility today isn't about being right all the time. It's about showing your team that your words and your actions and your values remain steady no matter how uncertain circumstances may get. When you acknowledge uncertainty or constraints, you model authentic strength. You're not saying, "I don't know." You're saying, "Here's what we know, and here's what we're learning, and here's how we'll keep acting according to our values." I remember a statement made in the military, and that is, keep doing what you've been ordered to do until your orders change. So that's kind of tough, especially if the war is over and you're battle ready. But if the orders haven't changed, you continue the course, right? So this is what we will continue to do until our orders change. So we're going to be consistent in what we're doing. And here's a practical application for us. The next time you roll out a new policy, initiative, or a change, number 1, explain the goal and the why behind it. It helps that people know the goal and the why behind it. Number 2, acknowledge what remains unknown or what might still evolve. It helps to know. It calms people. It lets them know what's about to come. And number 3 is to reassure your team of the values guiding every step. So this is the process. This is how we're going to do it. Listen, another leadership principle: everything rises and falls on leadership. So it's important that the leader stands up, takes the helm, and says, "This is how we've been doing it. This is how we're going to do it until another way presents itself." Oh, by the way, there's always another way, but someone's got to lead the charge. So that combination of honesty and consistency creates a climate where trust flourishes even when clarity is still forming. We have another leadership principle: jump and build your wings on the way down. Figure it out as you're going. You're going to find the solution eventually. And point number 3, trust requires courage. Transparency isn't easy. It requires humility. I don't like it when I have a stain on my shirt, but it's proof that I've been eating. And so it's important to just say, "Hey, the truth is, I've been eating. I don't want to snowball you here, but this is it." So it requires humility and the courage to risk being misunderstood for the sake of being authentic. Walls in leadership often come from fear of losing authority, fear of being second guessed, or fear of appearing weak. But there's a paradox. When leaders hide behind those walls, they look less confident, not more. When they open up and share reasoning, they look stronger because it shows self-assuredness rooted in integrity. Look, this is what's going on. This is how it's happening. And this is how we're going to move forward through it, right? So there's an example here. So a pastor explains a difficult staffing decision to the congregation, describing the values and stewardship behind it, not just the outcome. And the honesty may not please everyone, but it strengthens trust because people can see the integrity behind the decision. So being transparent doesn't mean oversharing. It means communicating enough to keep faith alive between you and those that you lead. All right, so here's a few questions to ask for you to ponder on. Take a moment, even after watching this video back, to pause after each question and think about it, and then come up with an answer for yourself. But number one is, what kinds of walls are easiest for you to build under stress? Number two, how might your team experience greater trust if you explained how you decide, not just what you decide? And number three, in what area of leadership could you practice more transparency this week? To wrap up, when times are uncertain, people don't need perfect answers. They need leaders they can believe in. People who lead with clear reasoning, humility, and unwavering purpose. So as you lead this week, remember, build trust, not walls. Make your reasoning visible, show your values in motion, and let your transparency be the bridge that keeps your team, no matter how unclear the path ahead may be. I hope you've been encouraged today to build trust, not walls. God bless.